Hi everyone, hope you're well. Back for another soap review. This is the final bar of my Soleseife Seawater soap that I made quite a long time ago, 27th of October 2019. Here's my recipe in my little notebook. I made a video for this one, so I'll put a link to the original video. This is a soap that instead of using regular water for the recipe, I used seawater, and if you have a look at that video, you'll see the beautiful island location where I get the water from, one of my favorite places. So yeah, this soap was 85% olive oil, 10% coconut oil, and 5% castor oil. So a really simple recipe. And when I had my little soap making business, that was a really staple kind of recipe that I used. A lot of my customers really liked the higher olive oil because it is gentle, but we want a bit of hardness and a bit of lather as well, and the castor oil adds a real creaminess to the lather. This one was a very low water soap. It had a 38% lye concentration, which is about 22% water of oils. I used only a 3% super fat. What else? Yeah, I did a bit of a drop swirl. And you can see with my essential oils, I use bergamot, patchouli, and peppermint. And this soap smells pretty good still after all that time. It's well over a year old, so that's pretty good. One thing I do want to show you about this soap is, this is an example, and I kind of don't really like to show you this, but this soap got DOS. I don't know, some of you have probably heard of DOS, but in the soap making world, DOS is what we call that horrible little brown orangey spot. And DOS really stands for dreaded orange spot. It's quite a funny term. And really what that is just a bit of spoilage in the soap. And sometimes, unfortunately, with handmade soap, that does happen. There are things that you can do to prevent DOS. You can add vitamin E to your soap batches. My good friend George at Dawn Organics, you're probably all familiar with George, he puts vitamin E in his soaps, but he's a professional soap maker and he's selling his products. I don't sell my products, so these are just for personal use and for friends and family, and I just give them away. For me, if I get the odd bar, and this is a really old soap too, sometimes if you do keep them for a really long time, they do get DOS. You might get one bar in the whole batch that has a little spot or a big spot. Depending on the recipe, some oils are more prone to getting DOS in the final soap than others. But it's still a beautiful soap. I will say that saltwater soap for me is just something special. There's usually around about 3% salt in salt water, so you are getting a little bit of hardening from the salt in your bar, but not very much, and not enough to inhibit the lather of the soap. When I had my little soap business, I used to make this soap with a slightly more complex essential oil blend, and it was my best seller by far. I think people really love the idea of saltwater soap, like a brine soap, especially if you collect the water from, you've got access to really nice fresh seawater. And I think people like the white and the blue and the green. These colors, I'm pretty sure that blue was some blue indigo, and the green I think was probably a mixture of, I didn't write it down, but I'd say it looks to me like some mica that I used, and probably a little bit of French green clay as well. But that blue is definitely a blue indigo color, which is a lovely natural blue colorant. I'll have to do some videos about that. So let's do the lather test. See what this old soap is like. You can see how old this soap is. It's shrunk on the sides. Usually when they're really old and dry like that, they shrink in a little bit on the sides. You've got a well-dried soap when it's shrunk a bit. So there it is. It's pretty cool. Alright, so what did I say? 85% olive, 10% coconut, and 5% castor. Yeah, it's a really simple recipe. And this isn't going to look anything dramatically different from my other lather tests. I just like to show people what it's like. Because, adding salt to your soap It can inhibit the lather if you use a lot. That's why you see a lot of people, if they make salt bars, they make them with a high amount of salt, but they use coconut oil, soap base, because that has a really good strong lather, and that counteracts the lather dampening of the salt. So that's lovely. That's a nice little lather. Beautiful. Still smells good. I just love that combination of the patchouli, bergamot and peppermint. If you go back to the original video, you'll see all the recipe details in the description box. Just gorgeous. Love it. Yeah, still a great soap. Fantastic. Might make that one again soon. Thanks everyone. That's all I wanted to show you. Bye.